on the CT side, that seems to be where most teams are comfortable on. And we've seen a lot of games in this tournament so far where the first half has essentially been really close, really one-sided. It's when that second half kicks off where some teams just, either they're not as comfortable going into that alternate half, that alternate side of things, or whether they just shut off early because of economy or other factors. It's going to be a case that for this playoff game now, everyone's got to be awake and on the server. And these names, especially Dennis, you'd expect to be at least fully prepared to try and show up, at least starting here on Mirage. X-Smash's pick also. It's a map they've looked very comfortable on in the past few months going forward, and now this is their chance to show off to APEKS why they love this map and why this is their home turf.
It is their opportunity to do that indeed. And we do have the odds from our partners over at Loopbet. They just about favor X-Smash in this series. I'd say that is fairly accurate considering just how up in the air things have been. APEKS obviously with the upset potential, so we'll have to see whether or not that gets reflected here on Mirage. Opening kill found by Grux in the first instance. They're looking for more towards window, but for now the trades do come through from APEKS. Bubble does well to get one back. Yeah,
Bubble really wants something else here, just hiding on short. He's done damage onto Grix, but it's not quite coming in his favor, so Fate can at least take advantage to ensure that Smash aren't entirely locked out of this one. It's an advantage also for the CT side, and Dennis fully aware that there's at least one player up in ladder room, 2 players up there, and the bomb also just has to be recovered. They're essentially 2 on 4 HP, Fate and Grux. It's going to be tough no matter what happens for them to somehow stay alive, so don't count APEKS out of this yet. They do have some players, they've certainly got to try and find them.
Absolutely, 2 on 3 situation, or 4 situation even rather, makes that absolutely nothing. X-Smash, they clean it up with 4 in the end, convert the pistol, but the real challenge is going to be keeping this economy alive.
This is where you've got to get a good economy in the early stages. This is where you've got to get a nice positive start. And then for instantly out for Bubble, and Disco Doppler can just join him on that little M4 buyout. APEKS no bomb plant means realistically not any money to work with to force out, so it's mostly an eco, mostly Glocks against what's going to be an MP9 rushing in just for now playing anti-flash. Fates doesn't quite have a flash to work with, and I don't think X-Smash even want to commit, and it's probably for the safe and right option.
Indeed. They want to be holding it at bay. They don't want to lose these weapons to those pistols and just give away any of that extra economic advantage if they can avoid it. Obviously those M4s would be a great prize for the pistols to convert into. They're going to try and find a rifle over on this A bomb site. The bomb plant obviously going to be what they're looking for at first. There are players here to defend.
Right, oh, the scout does damage at least. Grix might have at least a nice little cleanup, and they wanted a bomb plant. APEKS don't even achieve that. It's a FAMAS cleanup. It's a nice one with it. Nothing really gained for the APEKS side. No money either. And the player on triple just made it look so easy. The scout helping with the damage. And no bomb plant means APEKS will have money, but utility might be on the low side coming to round number 3.
It might indeed for that side. They've done well in terms of the flashes, at least. Smoke's available to try and deploy across. Want to use them to gain access to one of these bomb sites. Mid currently all under contention here. AK is definitely favoring the firepower for APEKS at the moment as they send 3 to continue their advances. Geez, they're definitely going to want to find an opening kill, but so far X-Smash have done a great job at winning that lockdown.
Oh, Marcellus, that's a nice engagement to win over towards short, and they've doubled up on that. Fates has fallen. And for Disco Doppler to lose that is a little bit of a concern, because for APEKS, that's at least an easy bomb plant. The M4s have been lost, and for a FAMAS and an MP9, I think you just can't really consider going for the retake at all. And to just add matters onto it, this AK might do damage.
It might indeed. 2 CTs. Isolated to just 1. Shocks on the MP9 now. He'll be trying to save X-Smash. They'll be talking at the moment about their plans for the next round. They should be able to get a full buy together in theory, but if they lose it, then their economy's in a really dire position at the beginning of their map pick, and APEKS have the opportunity to seize that early momentum and try and create a snowball effect here on the Stardom Mirage that can give them the mental confidence to succeed on their opponent's map pick.
See, this is where APEKS just need to be careful. X-Smash on their home turf are now going to start to try and prove why they love this map. And while the buyout isn't perfect, if they can work with Fates really open as a key contention point, it could be the reason that APEKS possibly lose these AKs. For now, though, some pre-fire, and the Estonian player just for now having to play the safer option. Bubble is just going to avoid a pre-fire. Marcelius and Co need to get an entry sooner, but for now they at least have the hard task of at least selecting mid control, and that entry is huge.
Or found for the CT side, it's by far the most expensive piece of defensive equipment they have available, the biggest amount of firepower, and Bubble, he has the unenviable task of having to try and recover it. Just for now, locked in this window. There are players absolutely surrounding him, trying to root him out. He'll get one before being found by Grubb's AK. The rest of APEKS now, they look to reunite and attack this A bomb site. Shocks can put a stop to it. He has done so at least in the early instance, but the fires force him out. He will at least get the following AWP and lock it into a 2v2 for his teammates.
Well, Grooks is trying to get more damage done, needs to do something because of FAMAS on Connector at this point. It's going to be a tough ask, and APEKS, in fact, they've got to retrieve the bomb. They've forgotten the key component of really unlocking this map, and it's going to depend on what True finds towards the A site, because if he falls here, then the bomb might as well head towards B. I mean, technically, it's an option that AKES still can certainly work with, but keep watch of Grooks, the rotation now in towards market window. He might cause a concern. This encounter towards A is so impactful, and that's an AK victory now for Grooks. The 1 versus 2, and he could stop the bomb plant.
Oh, just too slow onto the site, and now he has to find this opening kill onto APEKS very quickly indeed. Truth Torp on 11 HP, the bomb planted perfectly for him, but Grooks aware, not that it matters. The AWP eventually finds the kill. X-Smash, it's the worst scenario they could have hoped for. Their economy now broken as the scoreline is tied up, and Shocks, it's a great effort here to get this second kill. He stood in fire, no right to survive at all. Eventually cleaned up, and that's what opens up that potential there from X-Smash, but unfortunately, the timing just not there on Grooks' side. APEKS now looking to take the early lead with their supreme weapon advantage, as they just go for a flat-out A execute.
That after plant also to get the bomb down planted for short just meant that for APEKS that should have always been their round anyway. I felt the AWP just didn't have the best opportunity, and now for X-Smash to be on an eco against this full APEKS buyout certainly doesn't give me much hope for the European squad. Some shots sent out, some smokes and utility now follow suit. Marcelius with the AWP does just pre-fire the smoke, but a awkward angle. I don't get how Fates gets that kill, but that's a huge boost, and that's a huge advantage on what for X-Smash is just an eco.
They stay alive for the moment, but the bomb's found its way to the site. Bubble's the one who's found the second kill, though. Surely the firepower here of these rifles is going to outlast the CT pistols. No more teams can afford to fall, and eventually Marcelicious, he looks to stabilize the ship, but he can't even find Disco Dopland. 4 pistols still alive for the retake, and eventually APEKS, despite being dinked in the process, puts a stop to the hopes of X-Smash. It is all recovered in the end, and APEKS, they lose 2, but they do win the round. Minor economic damage sustained. Now a full buy to face against here in round 6. They really do have the opportunity to seize control of this first half. if they can take control of this gun round.
This isn't a map that APEKS are really too afraid to try out or play on either, but it isn't their best map. It's quite a balance in terms of wins and losses for them in the past. For now, though, the squad looking to march on towards mid, and that's a huge opening, at least for Bubble towards underpass. They've got the trade kills, but X-Smash are so quick, and that's a perfect angle for Shox to really utilize. Akez was the player to fall in that scenario. The 4-on-2 Shox, just about bodied out, and he almost got the kill, but the AWP and the AK, they stay alive. Marcelius and Groose. Now, a bit more work to do if they want to find maybe a 4th round.
B is where they believe their hopes lie. Disco Doplin's posted up aggressively in these B apartments in the one-and-done position. That's all he realistically has to get. The rest of his team then have the positional information and the numbers advantage to win the 1v2. Marcelius is going to be the first man in. AWP on the corner, can't find the shot though, and Grust, with the need to recover, is able to do so. Bomb to hand. He rushes into this B site, but there's already players here able to defend. Fates is AWP on the angle towards door, spots him out now. Grust deploys a follow-up smoke and looks to plant this one safely, but in the 1v2, he wants to get aggressive and equalize the numbers. Shots unfortunately missing, and time not on his side. The AWP will find him. X-Smash, they take this round away. APEKS can still go here for the full buy, but at least the CTs can keep the guns on the board.
Dennis, I don't know if he's actually going to get a weapon. He might be one of the only players impacted by we could buy an AK just about there. Armor a little bit minimal on a few of the players fulfilling. Had helmet and Kevlar, but for now though, it's at least an AWP against an AWP. Fates and Marcelius have their weapons. Bruce now looks to go for quite a fast play, and the Molotov is really an unwanted sign. He can't push forward, he has to play safe. A default from APEKS, who again look to find an opening kill.
You can tell they really wanted to go out quickly into that B bomb site, but we saw the fires deterred them, and already that early utility deployment towards the B site is going to be nearly a minute up of this round. It forces APEKS to reconsider their options entirely over towards the A bomb site. They do have a few smokes available, 3 to put down and flashes to allow them in, but the issue utility-wise is going to be holding off that retake. Yes, they should be able to get the plant at a bare minimum with just Grux in the active defensive angle. But how will they deal with the retake?
Grux, for me, might be so key just to how X-Smash maybe hold on to this A bomb site, and Molotov goes towards under, but Grux for now hasn't entirely been flashed out, and that could be a problem. The Molotov now starts to do damage, and there is the flash out that allows Dennis at least the opening frag now, and all really struggling and trying to force themselves to make a response, but nothing for now is coming out. The bomb gets planted, and the AWP now looks for maybe an up-close AK, but look at the flank, it's Bubble. He at least gets one and needs to expect the second, but that's where Dennis shines. APEKS now have an advantage.
From the bait angle, Dennis finds the flank, and now in the 3-on-4, X-Smash desperate for a way in. Disco Doppelin looks to provide it. Fates AWP really want to allow extra breathing room, but Truth applying the pressure. It's Gruss who finds the planter, and Fates alone with his AWP has no time to get this done. He'll at least get the fadeaway shot, but APEKS have done enough by the looks of things. They secure yet another round. They put 4 on the board, earning themselves the lead, and the X-Smash economy can't really justify a rifle buy around this AWP. And we might have another little bit of information for you about our case partner, Hellcase. You can use code MaltaV for that extra cash on your account, and of course MaltaV15 for the refill bonus. There are loads of extra features over on that site that you won't get bored with, so make sure you use the promo codes to grab what you deserve. It's what we expected in this round. X-Smash, they just have to eco around the AWP.
The AWP really going to be looking for as much damage as possible in round number 8. A USP up close. Dennis for now just has to back off and play maybe a safer angle. It wasn't ideal to really push through that smoke and go aggressive up on short. They're looking and waiting for the ladder room smoke to fade off, but 2 holding on chair. APEKS entirely again focus their efforts on this mid control, and it's a risk for any of these X-Smash players to really peek and look towards it. Dennis might be the first point of contact, but for now, no shots hitting Grooks.
Well, they go either way in the early instance. Shox wants to do more damage to that USPS, but isn't allowed it. The Deagle's denied as well. Leaves Fate yet again alone. He'll only find the 1 kill with his sniper rifle as APEKS clean up that anti-eco in great fashion. Shox, he can technically afford that AWP, but there'd be some utility and perhaps armor sacrifices as well. And this is the round that dealt all the economic damage. Gruss and Truth holding out true for APEKS and really earning that early lead in their favor. And scarily enough for X-Smash, perhaps, APEKS have the majority of their success on Mirage on the CT side. So if they can get 8-9 rounds on the T side, they'll be in a great place to take their opponent's map pick.
Oh, Marcelius has opened this round out perfectly. 2 shots connected, and his initial nade towards connector forced Shox down to half HP. So an individual effort means APEKS have a great little advantage, but he looks away at the wrong time. Shox might lose the timing on the player down in window. And now Disco Doppler had to be aggressive just to try and counter maybe the loss and lacking players, but the flash isn't helping his case at all. Truth gets the opening. There's your B site for Shox and Grooks. If they start to get damage done quick, then they might have a chance, but it's a rough one. And look at Groose.
He can put a stop to the ball. Has to worry about the timing. Shox will dink him, but he's now secured the kill and made his way to a safe angle. Grooks alone in the 1-on-5. Absolutely no chance getting back into the B-bomb site, saving the only option in APEKS. 6-3 up at the start of Mirage. Certainly not something you would have expected from them, but they have shown perhaps an affinity towards the map here in Malta vibes. They narrowly edged out alternate attacks here, and they're doing well on their T side, especially against an opponent with a much better win rate.
Yeah, APEKS, their last match up on this map was a loss to Namiga. But for now, that seems to be sort of wiped out of their minds. A bit more positive, 6-3 up. X-Smash will, again, just be on this weaker buy, and around the M4, you can maybe force up some pistols. I'm not sure economically whether it's the safe call, but Marcelius individually, that first shot was great. The second one just added on top of that nade damage he initially achieves. Maybe a fast one, maybe a tiger damage. This time, his feat of getting some kills won't be found just yet.
Clinical AWPing in the last round. Semi-buy for X-Smash starts to get dismantled early. Dennis's AK finds the opening kill. Grux and Fates both flashed off on the A-bomb site. Can't do much at present as the grenades fall either side of them. They avoid the majority of the damage, however, and Grux will even find a kill, but it's not enough in the situation. Marcelius is all brings out yet again. Truth's AK adds to the sound, and Bubble can't do anything with the Deagle in mid. Gruss removes him, and X-Smash look towards yet another buy, but already this is a very strong T-half from APEKS. And things starting very strong from them. X-Smash calling the timeout, perhaps the perfect timing to break up some momentum.
This is one of X-Smash's best map picks, most recently having a couple wins, 15 wins, 4 losses in the past few months, and it's not quite showing here against this heavy Norwegian lineup. 79% win rate for X-Smash compared to APEKS's 50%. At least now for X-Smash, they've got the money in the bag, so they can now start to consider what might be a positive option going forward. Bates looks to the sky as his side now pray that they can maybe try and get some rounds back in their favor. Just an extension on top of this pause. APEKS won from winning the half, Vitalis, and that is a bit of a concern if you're on your map pick and you've not necessarily had the chance to show up.
Even more of a concern when you look ahead at X-Smash's dire statistics on Nuke. The likelihood that they win on that map, you feel, is just so low that Mirage vital in this series for them, for their chances at victory, expected for them. in terms of it being their pick as just the guaranteed win. They've beaten not only a greater number of opponents on this map than APEKS, but also opponents of a higher caliber. And perhaps we're starting to see this APEKS side really on the rise here in Malta vibes. It might be too early doors to say it just yet, but a spot in the semi-finals was certainly more than I'd have been expecting from this roster.
Yeah, APEKS are coming into this probably ranked somewhat lower than X-Smash going into this. And X-Smash has been an awkward couple of months for them. As I said earlier, this new APEKS squad really looking to rise up with the experience of Dennis trying to power these boys forward. And, well, it's going to be a round where X-Smash have to just see some positivity and maybe get themselves some early advantage and an early kill, if anything. Fates, he's trying his best on the AWP. He will have that weapon, at least in this upcoming round. Marcelius, him and Groose have been certainly turning up 20 kills for them too on the APEKS side of things. And that's the concern, right? If X-Smash don't start to turn up in the next few rounds, if this becomes a heavily one-sided affair so quickly, then you wonder for X-Smash, can they even achieve much on Nuke? It's a Nuke pick which APEKS haven't been too good on either lately, but they've picked this map. APEKS picked Nuke. If we end up on it, X-Smash, you wonder what sort of a performance they now have to show up to maybe even consider Dust 2 as a way for them to win this.
Absolutely. The T side as well for X-Smash, only narrowly stronger than their CT. They're still expected to win, on average, more than half of the rounds that they play on their CT side. So that means more often than not, they are taking those 8 to 7 scorelines home. And it just looks very unlikely they'll obtain that in this half. It would have to all start from around victory in this one. Fates is all lacking any kind of utility as APEKS target the A bomb site now. Really, that's the key theme for X-Smash. They're starting to run out of grenades early.
X-Smash, they also need that opening kill. They don't get it. Most of the rounds that they lose are purely because they don't get an opening kill. Grooks might be able to get the time in here. APEKS, they've gone for that boost, and it's a mistake because Grooks can just take advantage. Akes falls, and maybe even this second player even finds a death. It's at least a tight scoreline, but it's Truth on top, and it's APEKS for now trying to fire themselves onto this A bomb site.
Fates, the only man denying his execution in the flames. He looks for more, but it's too chaotic. And the crosshair can't find its targets. Bubbles looks like it will, but Marcelius adjusts. The flick is beautiful. It leaves Disco Doc one alone, and Truth removes him from the round. 8 guaranteed for APEKS. The advantage in the half confirmed. Yet another pause now coming through. And really, the Nordic side starting to dominate here on Mirage.
X-Smash need to certainly wake up. They couldn't hit their shots. They were sadly struggling just to win the engagements, and that was awkward despite the fact that they even went for that aggressive ramp control, and that almost got them a stronger advantage, but it wasn't enough. You saw the damage they were trying to achieve, just not as much as APEKS were firing back. One of the stats just to point out, whenever X-Smash get an opening death, they end up losing 70% of the rounds, so it's not ideal. Brooks has a scout more or less quickly with armor, so you can only imagine it's a half buy to follow. So dominant. I didn't expect this so quickly from APEKS. That it's looked and it's felt so quick. And X-Smash, it's felt like they've not had anything for at least 3-4 rounds now.
The underdogs of APEKS showing their teeth at the moment. Really biting back against that X-Smash side. Showing that their T side just full of diversity and full of firepower. Marcelius is lightning quick on that AWP. Dennis's entries have been great towards that A bomb site as well. And Gruss in those late round situations at the moment, just keeping it cool under pressure and functioning exactly as needed. You're right. in the call that X Smash go for the half buy in this round. They don't want to drain their economy too much. Keep it over 2,000 where they can. And contest for the full guns in the next. But we're already in round 12. And APEKS haven't shown any signs of slowing down.
X Smash again need to look for an opening. They've got to be a bit more creative on their approaches. The nade is damaged, but for Dennis, an opening over towards A. That's just a fake. The bomb looks to be heading towards B, and APEKS haven't even made a specific call to really say, right, we're going towards a site. It looks as if they want to go towards A, but with X Smash now giving up and losing a bit of mid control, Bubble could be so key to just what is found in towards middle. Shocks also. It's the next engagement which really could favor X Smash, but APEKS and Marcelius, they now have a two-man lead.
D-Gors, only one of which has body armor up against this APEKS D side. The full rifles haven't had much success. The pistols even less so. Gruss and Truth eviscerating the A site defense, leaving Disco Doppler yet again to rotate over from that B bomb site and try and deal some damage. He won't be able to do so, though, and it's the team ace from APEKS, one apiece for the entire side. They secure 9, and they look to continue their tear of dominance up against another X Smash full buy. And realistically, X Smash, they need the last 3 rounds in this half to even have a chance at staying in this map, realistically.
Well, when they started the week off in their Group A events, they beat Illuminar 16-11 on Mirage. They also, in one of their deciding matchups, ended up winning against the same team on Mirage. So they've played it and won it before this week, in fact. And that opening is finally some hope that gives them maybe some advantage to work forward with. APEKS lose Gruss over towards B. And with some late utility looking to go mid, APEKS don't need to challenge middle. That's the risk, and I think they've worked this out also. Marcelius has the AWP. One of them prepared to maybe hold off this push. Three towards round with the other in Palace, and that's a great opening for Grooks and even Fates to also find.
Double AWPs, just seemingly that big green bailout button that the CTs always have the option to press. APEKS not expecting it in this round, and with Dennis and Akez alone with AKs, only one flash between them to work with, and look at that X Smash defense lined up towards mid, holding true, giving APEKS really the only option to charge straight through the B apartments, and even then Disco Doppler and Zorp is expected to find the first player. So if they do want to go for this, which the T's can consider based on their economic position, it has to be this A bomb site. They start now creeping out from ramp.
My concern is even if X Smash find a win here, which they should do, they've still got to work towards at least a 9-6 half bubble. At least makes that look easy. APEKS falls. Dennis, the experienced one, can only find 1 kill in it. The only kill that APEKS find in the round, but still 9-4 up. They won't be too disappointed. X Smash can turn up. They can keep those 2 AWPs into this follow-up round. 2 more of the half. For X Smash, they've got to be must-wins.
Absolutely. If they do win those rounds, the opportunity to come back into this map is incredibly real. APEKS, they want to smash into the B bomb site here. They have smokes available to counter that Molotov, but they're going to hold off just for now and wait instead for it to dissipate so that they can have the smokes in more advantageous positions. Angling up the grenades, waiting to explode out into B, and it's Bubble who'd have to go big to stop them.
Practically alone on the site. Smokes towards window door also, and this M4 just has to play the safer option. Bubble more than prepared to maybe hold this off. The one-on-one Angels just had to be one, and Drew's finding that one, and APEKS CT right back where they were. This aggression huge, but it isn't a third kill that he wanted. 6 HP plays the safe game. The AWP on short, that's deleted. And Shocks and Grooks, you have to back out and save. You can't go for this.
Absolutely not, and the extra damage is even done. Grux's AK, the only rifle left to save. Bubble has nothing in the bank. Grux only on 1k, would love to save this rifle as well. But APEKS, they secured double digits regardless. They do remove the AK. And this is just such a horrible economic position for X-Smash to be in. Yes, they can justify the full buy, and now that they're in the last round of the half, they just have to go for it anyway. They're not going to have utility to work with. Once again, they can't bring out those double AWPs anymore. And APEKS, in control of the momentum, want to finish off on a high note.
11-4, they can literally look towards now if they at least close off the win now. X-Smash again going to be hungry to get this open kill in mid. Fates had to really hit something, and there's the chance, and there's the shot. At least Gris wasn't prepared. No flashbang to support him, and trade could have been close. Dennis tagged up is at least a breathing point and a bit of hope for the CT squad. Through 3 flashes. APEKS give up mid. Play towards apartments now might be the answer. Towards the B side. X-Smash have to respond, and they've only got really one player even close, which is Disco Doppler hiding down on short.
You said it yourself. When X-Smash are able to get the first kill, they convert 78% of those rounds normally. Be expecting them to convert this one as well. Disco Doppler has to at least get one in there. Does find it, looks for the second, but won't be afforded the gift. Bubble instead cleans up APEKS. 2 on 4 for the T side. The AWP is not quick enough from Dennis. It is from Fates though. That leaves Marcelius alone, not on his favored AWP. Instead, the AK to boot this time. 4 players to find in the 11th round for his side. Looks for the damage, does get the tag, but he needs to start getting kills here. Finds the first. Ammo now low on just 5 bullets. AWP practically in spitting distance from him, but he still finds that kill. There's no more bullets left in his gun, though. He has only 1 to work with. Has to reload or swap it out. Somehow he stays alive, but eventually the FAMAS finds him.
That second kill made it all the more likely that he had a chance in that. A nice attempt, but for APEKS, at least 10 is a great response. X-Smash so lucky, more or less, to really come back to find 5, and that will certainly be the side hungry to get Pistol to really ensure that Mirage is still wide open, but it feels as though that it's just going to be so tough if X-Smash lose this.
Absolutely. X-Smash on that T side. They lose the pistol, realistically speaking. It's 12, 13 rounds at that point. APEKS 13-5 down. You don't want to be coming back from that kind of a scoreline. APEKS 2 mid, 2 B, and the solo A site defender may not be the right call unless they can deal with these underpass T's. Marcelius! Absolutely what was needed. 2 massive headshots from him as he's eventually taken down by Grux. Dennis in the corner, though. The king of the pistols, opening up with some headshots of his own, leaving his team in the 3-on-2.
They made a impressive start. Now they've got to build off of this and just find these last tips. They get a bomb down from this X-Smash. That'll be brilliant, but APEKS just strikes first. That's a chance maybe now for the 21 HP, but it was too much to ask. It was Truth who found the response. APEKS, there you are. They've got 11. X-Smash, they tried their best, but Marcelius was key. Dennis, his kill also helped cement the ace at the defense. 11-5 up. X-Smash, how do you respond?
The Force is the answer, and look how the odds have changed from our betting partners over at LootBet. X-Smash on their own map pick now, 6.85 odds if you were to bet on them at this point. And realistically, if that bet was to come through and be a win on this map of Mirage, X-Smash, this is the round they have to win. They can break the CT economy in this second round Force, but not when Orgs are doing work like that. The block, though, actually causes Truth to go down, but Dennis's second kill still keeps APEKS with the advantage.
The M4 just second round is so deadly for APEKS even. Disco Doppler, well, might have a chance still, 19 HP, and he has to find 2 more. One player in connected just wipes him out. Marcelius on fire. 19 kills to his name, and his side up to 12. That was the round that X-Smash had to find, and the shots back in pistol were insane. Marcelius, individually, he's one of the reasons that APEKS are just doing so well.
Couldn't have said it better myself. On that AWP, he's been shining like a star. He's got 19 kills already in the map. And his team now have an easy round ahead against the pistols of X-Smash. Truthsorg towards mid-window once again in position. The Eagles, they want to rip his head off, and standing still, Shox will do just that. AK's now low over towards the B-bomb site. These pistols from X-Smash are doing damage.
Marcelius just needs to be careful. Aggression, and not too much found, but Groose. They're trying to work out where fate is on site. The P250 falls. The SMG comes off a winner, so that's a little upgrade. And with the pistols so far, X-Smash should be happy with the damage they've done, but it's still technically a winnable scenario. Well, there's no one left on the B site. If you're X-Smash at this point, you might consider just going for the group up, going for a bit more basic stuff. And with Disco Doppler just for now heading towards Palace, his teammates not too far behind in spawn. There is an opening towards the A site. It's going to be on what's going to be the solo APEKS player.
3-on-3 towards this A-bomb site. APEKS on the defense. Look at that, Dennis. He's found the opening kill already. That AUG can't get the second onto Shox, though. Deagle takes him out. And now they have the bomb site under their control, looking to plant it as well, meaning APEKS have to come in for the retake. M4 and MP9 against M4 and Deagle. Shox, if he can even find just the opening Deagle shot, it'd be wonderful, but the flash will blind him and leave Bubble under pressure. With no body armor to boot, he can't afford to be in a drawn-out gunfight. He can't afford to be going for these long spray downs, and instead he finds the headshots, securing the round for X-Smash and giving them some much-needed room to breathe.
Well, I don't know if that's going to be enough for them. APEKS, they're still up to 12, and this individually was perfect. APEKS just weren't able to trade out. Groose couldn't do anything to support his dead teammate at the time. And while APEKS now just go for a force buy, it is a force buy, there is a scout. There's not good weapons to work with. Got to be an initial engagement, which X-Smash need to just win. They can't afford to lose these AKs. That's a nice one. Shox finds Marcelius, one of the more instrumental APEKS players in the lineup at the moment. Scout is still in play, and this Deagle and short Portalis could certainly do some work.
It absolutely could. X-Smash, they read Marcelius' aggression. He's been trying to get the kills out mid virtually every round, so they expect him to be there this time. And Deagle crossfire on short is about to receive some pressure of its own. Grux ripping it apart for the moment, at least, as Gruss on the other side trying to survive. Truth nearly finds Disco Doppler in the back as well, but we'll have to settle for just the tags. And now APEKS only have 2 players left on the board. Make that just one in the form of Dennis, who on the A-bomb site will have very little to say about this bomb being planted, and even less to say about the outcome of the round.
Shouldn't be a chance that he really would be able to win this, so playing the safer option, just keeping what he has over towards the site of A. 15 kills to his name. So he is on top. They are in control. At least in control of controlling the scout. X-Smash might look to take away this weapon. And X-Smash at this point can certainly look towards 8 rounds. Also, the money means APEKS won't have too much if they were to force out. They really shouldn't, and they really won't have that best opportunity to have anything. Maybe something.
Oh, he's trying. Dennis is trying. Eventually finds Bubble, but they do not want his scout to be alive in the next round. And APEKS they won't have anything to work with here as a result. Just Marcelius, his HE grenade, and the default pistols. Xmash looking guaranteed to get 8 on the board, presumably then picking up an AWP in the next one, up against an Apex full buy that would be lacking utility. There's certainly now the chance for Xmash to come back here on Mirage and avoid what is that distinct 2-0 prospect.
Well, so easy to get a couple of them. That could have been damaged back. In fact, heavily tagged up Bubble. Only gets one from that. It's his teammates Grooks and Disco Doplin who just ensure that he isn't going to die too easily. In truth, just caught out by the Palace player. Comes out by the twin connector. 8-12, so a 6-round gap becomes a 4-round gap. Apex now struggling on the defense. And all of a sudden, Xmash might now have a say in this. They might have a chance to even go to nuke one map ahead. With minimal utility as well, Xmash have that additional advantage. There's no AWP either. The defense or the offense. So now looks to play anti-flash. A rush in mid, but too many flashes, and this could be concerning as Shox at least finds an opening.
Crush lands the dig, but gets no more. They really want to contest this. Mid-control do Apex, but how much are they willing to pay for it? They've already lost one player. How many more are they going to have to lose? Another is the answer, at least for the moment, as the bomb dropped on short. Doesn't actually have to commit anywhere yet. Brooks has made his way out onto B and has punished Truth on the opposing side. Marcelius will get one in kind, but his teammate Dennis is still all the way over on the A bomb site. He's not committed to this yet. He has to find the player on short as well. Marcelius under so much pressure. His teammate's done the job, but he's now been taken out, and Dennis with a very important 1v2 on his hands.
It's down to the Swede to maybe find some win. Shox, 12 HP, is the likely target to head towards first, and that was him. He's so lucky to really escape that Shox. Now hiding in apartments, but there is the kill. Didn't need to commit, didn't need to peek. But a bomb planted for short means Fates, even with a model sub, now has an advantage of really now trying to hold on to this. There isn't a smoke. Dennis has to clear so many angles with the limited bullets he has left. 5 of them, but spots the sound on short. He will escape with his life. Fates will look for the kill. The 9th for the Europeans.
Ever so close indeed. The 9th for the Europeans on the board, and the Nordic side of APEKS now perhaps in trouble as their opponents start to come back into this match. They shouldn't go for the fall buy in this round. Just a couple of pistols really to allow for the rifles and utility coming forwards in the next one. That could have gone either way, but Dennis in that retake just never entertained the short angle as a possibility, and just knows really that if there is somebody playing all the way deep from short there and you're the one having to retake, they're just not going to peek you in that position. You're not going to win true. Meanwhile, his CZ does actually win towards mid, not too shortly before the rest of his team get mowed up by AKs in reply though. CT's doing the economic damage, but Akaz with the Deagle can't convert anything else, and Dennis has to save this M4 once again.
They're gonna push for him, yep. Kill for Xmash, picks them up to 10. They're now starting to build up this momentum in APEKS. They've not won anything since round 17. 5 rounds in a row. I mean, the loss bonus maxed down, and they finally get an AWP, M4s, and an AUG on Truth. That isn't a weapon you see too often at the moment, either Truth on the AUG, but certainly wants to give it a try. Next Smash want to give a play towards a try. Marcelius. Oh, he tags him. Grooks. That nade could kill him off so quickly. In fact, it does. A massive advantage. Finally, APEKS get a chance to go forward. And X-Smash now have to... Oh, that is perfect by Bubble, but quickly, again, refragged out.
That's such a vital refrag to obtain, but now Truth's gone down, and Dennis' position is expected. Shox as AK takes him out, and Akez, he'll recover one at least with the M4 and secure the 2-on-2, but it's such a high-pressure environment. APEKS, they have to win this round. if they want a look into Mirage. Disco Doppler wants to swing wide onto Grux. He deals the damage, but hasn't yet converted the kill, and instead goes down. His teammate Shocks, leaving him alone in the 1-on-2. He has a Molotov to use, but right now is being smoked off from Connector. Has to get the lineup right as more utility is pushed against him. Fire deployed. It looks like they have the smoke to counter it. The defuse will come through, and APEKS gets the kill through the smoke at the end. 13-10. CTs win the vital round.
That was huge, not only for their economy, but for the momentum, and to cut this positivity and confidence that X-Smash probably built up. They're not too far behind, so a win here could again force APEKS into a weaker position economically. But they need 3 to close out this opening map. We can see why now APEKS are a strong threat, but X-Smash now at least have been building up momentum on their map. They have kept this close and a bit more decisive than what we probably expected.
The worrying thing about X-Smash is they still have the cash reserves to fight here, whereas APEKS, their economy is broken with the loss and their utility already whittled so low. Just 1 smoke and 1 Molotov left to complement their 3 flashes. You can see they're trying to overcompensate for this by deploying an excess number of bodies towards this A bomb site. And at the moment, it looks as though it would be the wrong call. X-Smash entertaining the possibility of a B split here, with Bubble trying to sell the fake towards the other side of the map. If they could route APEKS out of window, perhaps with a ladder push, they were certainly considering it. But X-Smash know just how vital this round is. They don't want to throw anyone away either.
Right. Oh, had to be the kill, really. Grux doesn't even take any damage from that, or Bruce, sorry, hiding in the van position now. That is awkward, because X-Smash now were trying to send the bomb towards B, and that still looks to be the case. APEKS, at least now alone, means there's certainly a chance the X-Smash boys can turn up. But another missed shot of the York. Fate is not feeling it. A third one also. I don't know what's happened. It's his teammates who at least find and cement the kill. An awkward one. But for Fates, he is still alive at least, and he wants at least something. Dennis, I doubt will be for him. 14 rounds yet to be achieved. X-Smash on 11. What more do they do?
They gamble stacked the wrong bomb site. Now they have to go for the eco, allow X-Smash 12 and fight for 14 when you have the guns and the utility available. Surely that's the only option. Truth will drop down onto 1750 only. That's the most significant investment until Dennis's SMG makes its way onto the board. They have a better amount of loss bonus than they did previously, but X-Smash have virtually come all the way back into this map now. They'll be 1 round away from tying it up in the next gun round, and you can really feel the pressure now being applied to APEKS.
APEKS could just get the time, really, if anyone looks towards ladder, but this feels like an angle which the X-Smash boys might clear so easily if they head up towards short. It is a default from the T side. Marcellius with aggression means he just for now clears up close towards ramp. Bubble. He wants this overextension. He wants to be gifted some mistake. They're not going to get it. X-Smash, they have to make the next move. They've got to find an initial kill. And it shouldn't be the round which APEKS do find a win in. For now, an easy one. A tagged up player in Lado means Disco Doppler could just close this out. Flash in. Good enough. The AK kill is, and Fates has also doubled in to ensure the kills do land X-Smash's way.
Celia's up above, drops down at just the wrong time, and the AK not only cleans him up, but cleans up his teammate as well. 13-12 now. X-Smash, they have the opportunity. They've come straight back into things now that they swapped over towards the T side. And APEKS, they've pushed the panic button indeed. They've got the double AWPs to hand. Not as much utility on those players, but we saw just how well it worked out for X-Smash towards the end of their half. It was good for at least 2 rounds, and if APEKS could get at least 2 rounds out of these double AWPs, it'd be enough to secure overtime.
Dennis aggression. Oh, it's good. It's Grooks who falls first so quickly, but Bubble, that's another survival trade kill. The York just again gets traded out. It's kills all across the board, and it's Apex who marginally have an advantage, but that's a double peak. These the kills and the round, it's been so quick. Roof and Groose might look to hold this off. Smash with a vital one, and they at least keep it in a 2-on-2 equalizing scenario.
Smoke and a flash available on the retake. Gruss is praying for this gap, and he spotted it, but the timing's not quite right until it is. Shox walks in and fates his AWP. All that can hold strong now. Apex, what are they waiting for? They're sat in jungle. They're yet to commit. They're running out of time. One AWP shot found as they swing out onto the T side. AWP, who whips his flick and under pressure now as the flashes look to be deployed. Truth, his AWP has to get something done. The SMG will find the damage, and X-Smash will tie up the scoreline.
They're pulling this back. They're keeping it close for a side who looked completely shut out at the later stages of the first half. They suddenly turn up in full fashion. Groose just hit some good shots, but it just wasn't enough to ensure that his side had a chance at the end here. And Fates, he's had an awkward couple rounds. The AWP shots from him haven't been clinical, but at least strikes when it matters most. Pistol for the last one. Not all the shots are going to be that easy, though.
Just wonder what quite the communication there was from Apex. They get the opening kill, but then they sit in jungle for a few seconds, holding a crossfire, perhaps expecting some CT aggression. And then they swing out one at a time into the AWP's crosshairs. Just can't convert in that situation. Apex, they'll be able to put a full buy up in the next, but by that point, you're expecting X-Smash to be on 14. It's been a superb T-side comeback from them, considering that they looked potentially out of things when it was 9-3 in this first half. They've done well to come back into it, and if they can just avoid the danger of the Deagles here, they'll once again be in the lead.
It's Apex who just haven't entirely had the best chances in the second half either to close us out. Looks to be 14, and as you said, the Deagles are a little bit of a concern. Bruce will just re-smoke off the angle, and perfectly timed also, because X-Smash now have time against them if they want to really approach the B side. The Deagle hides towards Cher. He just can't overextend. That's such a big risk. Disco at least gets one, but who's going to strike blood? Who's going to get the kill? The Deagle they want the knife, but it's Fates and X-Smash who come off better.
Damage dealt, and Marcelius is 5 seconds still alive to the side, not ready to deal with the opposing AKs though. In truth, it would be a miracle if he got anything done here. With 4 players from X-Smash sitting in the B bomb site. He peeks around but misses his first shot, and now he knows they're going to be hunting him. His best chances of finding kills are to fall back to a better angle and save that armor forward. X-Smash, they make their way into the B bomb site. There was an opportunity to deny it all in the apartments, but heads could not be found. Apex with the dominant first half, but now struggling to close it out.
That's the concern, right? Such a dominant opening half, and since the money goes X-Smash's way, they more or less have wiped out the second half. They've made it look easy. Now need 2 to take their map pick. It was always this X-Smash map in the second half. Apex have only found 3 rounds so far. They now have the money, but it's only a single AWP, and it could be a concern. They prefer playing double AWPs. The X-Smash side, they've now got confidence on their side also. Not just momentum, but confidence, and that's one of the things they've got to keep going. They want to shut Apex out, and maybe Marcelius has to do a little bit more to keep his side in this.
Oh, great counter flashes from X-Smash, but the spray down is not good enough from Shox. His follow-up rifler of Disco Doppler has fallen too, and the rest of the team push the A bomb site. Marcelius can't find them with his AWP. They have the opportunity to plant, but the Flames deny for the moment and buy time for these Apex rotations from the B bomb site. But a grenade from Grux kills Truth and leaves it in the 3-on-3 now, as his M4s struggle to find their way back in with just a smoke. available for the retake. This T-side utility looking to keep APEKS out, eventually does so, but the Molotov forcing them out of Firebox eventually is so messy that xSmash, they just have to put the brakes on it. They wait for the moment, and APEKS with just 2 alive, the game hangs in the balance.
The amount of times xSmash tried to get the bomb plant was completely insane. They just weren't given a chance. That's too easy. Goose finds Bubble from under. Maybe a second. Brooks has gone as well. Dennis to wipe it out. And around xSmash were hungry for kills, were hungry for a bomb plant. They couldn't get that, and they couldn't even get the closing kills. These kills on Goose specifically, perfect. He just had the information. He knew when they peaked, and they just couldn't trade. xSmash, almost poor. And what a time to turn up to tie up the scoreline, 14 each. As both sides have an AWP, but xSmash have the advantage on the AKs once again.
Economy no longer a factor for the T side, just win rounds at all costs. It's the opportunity to close it out, deny a drawn out overtime on both sides here. xSmash, they stay away from mid. They've been punished so much by that mid aggression recently. You can see Shox is just holding it passively. He doesn't want to be rushing straight down there and hunting for those AK kills. The rest of his team playing passive behind as well indicates that they're just so cautionary in this round. They don't want to fight for map control and lose the players early on. Instead, they can hope they burn that CT utility and take the fights when their grenades tilt the advantages into their favor. Bomb making its way out mid, and with players positioned in the B apartments, it looks like a split's on the cards.
Bruce, I think it's going to be quite important to how a B split is defended for the APEKS point of view. Gives up the van angle, gets spotted out with some shots, not quite there. The bomb, in fact, looks to be heading what could be towards the A side, but this is a perfect flank and a perfect split in towards the site. The connector jungle and short presence just combined with this apartments play is going to be huge really going forward. Marcelius is at least prepared for it from behind, and the shot's so quick. The bomb yet to be spotted though, and that bomb could certainly go down on the A site. In fact, it's dropped as Marcelius comes off better.
Long haul from xSmash. They go for the split into B, and they don't realize that the A bomb site is completely empty. Instead, they try and push the AWP through the murder hole, and you're seeing where it got its colloquial name from now. APEKS, they have 2 AWPs available. They have the dream scenario. AKs should have a rifle as well, and they can close this out in regulation and make a statement on xSmash's pick. How on earth do these T's find a way around this and push us to overtime?
Marcelius, if they kill him off, maybe they've got a chance, but for me, Dennis is still a vital factor in how this APEKS side have especially been playing. And Fates, for now, he has to play the safer option of not committing in towards connector. They hear the AWP also. Marcelius might lose the time there. And the triple player just completely left open. Truth falls first. And Marcelius just forced into an off angle. The player's taking lots of utility damage. And for xSmash, it's now a 2-man advantage. And now they look towards overtime.
Fates through the flames, but there's no players to exploit on the A bomb site, and APEKS in the 3-on-5 with just scraps of utility left. The bomb not yet planted by xSmash is going to give time for APEKS to rotate in. One flash good at least on Fates, but he does damage before falling onto AKES, and it's going to be yet more to push A. Marcelius can save it with the AWP, but he's pushed instead. Whip shot could be the difference maker now. The flank from Dennis is the great hope from APEKS. They don't know what site has been committed to yet. xSmash haven't planted the bomb on such low HP. These CT riflers, they can't make mistakes at all. And Dennis now falling leaves AKES in the 1v3. He can't get it done either. xSmash, they take us to overtime.
Well, first to 19, and you can't help but feel xSmash almost threw that away near the end there as soon as Marcelius got the kills. He's on 21 kills, by the way. He's certainly had a massive impact. And the closest player to him, Truth, 18. Or sorry, Dennis down on 21, in fact. Means that while APEKS are finding kills, xSmash as a unit, they do seem to be turning up a bit more collectively. And that, I think, is where Marcelius has just been that step higher for keeping his side on top.
Indeed, he has a little bit of a less balanced story in terms of the scoreboard for the Apex side, but at least they've stabilized it to overtime. It would have been gut-wrenching for them to have done such a hefty job on that opening half, on their T side, and to have all that thrown away with a loss in regulation would have been rough. They still have the opportunity to win the map, but the comeback effort from X Smash is really commendable. They were down in the dumps, and they lost the second pistol as well. It should have all been over from Apex, but it feels like that 1v2 bubble one with the M4A1S really springboarded them into this comeback.
Yes, the fact that as soon as they started to get that momentum going for them, all of a sudden it meant there was a chance for the X-Smash side to maybe consider overtime. And while I didn't think they could necessarily win it in regulation time, they came close. And all it would have meant maybe was maybe 1 or 2 more rounds. The Apex side, they do so well to at least fight and fend off the push, but it's overtime as our deciding factor again. Just like one of our earlier quarterfinals.
Yes, indeed. Gambit Youngsters versus Nordavin, going all of the way on Vertigo if you were lucky enough to catch that series. But Nordavin then obviously convincingly closing it out a little bit more in the second map, 2-0. Now, of course, we're here in the third best of 3 of the day. Saw the other winners of their series winning that one 2-1. On the other side of your playoff bracket. Later on today, we will be watching Fours go up against Ago in the final quarterfinals. So those are the matchups that have been going on throughout the rest of these playoffs, Louis. Certainly didn't expect it to arrive in overtime here on Mirage. I thought this would be an X-Smash win, and then after the first half, I thought Apex would just be able to close it out.
It felt like Apex has had the chance, had the opportunity to come off better, but all of a sudden now they have to go through overtime. The odds, well, from LootBet certainly favour the X-Smash boys all of a sudden, and that is a comeback and a half compared to what we saw from them at the start of that half. They were completely out of it. The LootBet odds were nowhere near them. And for Apex now pushing forward, they've got to maybe cement something early on to give them some confidence. X-Smash, for now, start off with a default.
They do indeed. The double AWPs are out, but mixed effectiveness is realistically Apex can't quite decide who they want that second AWPer to be. Switching hands between Dennis, Gruss, and Truth seemingly throughout this map. X-Smash play it slow. They avoid mid in the early instance, which has to be the right tactical call. But there's a gap in that smoke. Marcelius can't exploit it, though. You can't be missing opportunities like that in overtime. There's so little rounds to work with that your opponents can punish you, just like Shox has done. Volkov into Palace is only good enough to save Dennis. His following A-site players been given away. Now Shox has made his way into jungle. The bomb making its way over to A, but that decision changed at the last moment for X-Smash, meaning APEKS is going to be the man under pressure on the B side.
A lot to do. And Apex do need to really get a kill back to really give themselves a chance. The AWP missing, that's Marcelius. Uncharacteristic, actually falling off worse. APEKS came close, but it isn't enough to cement anything. So for Apex, I believe this round has been a loss. Dennis still wants to give it a try because the economy says he can do. Overtime, first to 19. And for an AWP and 2 AKs to be saved, it means that X-Smash can just keep momentum and weaponry at high value as a kit. But at this point, very limited time to work with. The AK could be a threat, but just on scopes at the wrong time. There's no way that Dennis surely goes and jumps on the bomb now. X-Smash will have 16.
They will, and even though we're on 16k overtime, continually buying double AWPs is one of the only things that can actually drain that CT bank in these situations. You can see Marcelius, his second whiffed shot of the round, ultimately punishing him there, and APEKS Not good enough for any more than one on the defense. X Smash now wide awake on the T side. If they can get the advantage here, they can win the majority of rounds in this half. I'm more confident that their CT side will be stronger now that the individuals are more awake with the fragging.
You can't help but think it's now that the idea that because APEKS, or sorry, because X Smash have woken up, there might be a chance, but Marcelius, if he keeps this form up, approaching 30 kills, he could more or less single-handedly carry his side forward. And as X Smash now try and work out the timing, just really against some Disco and Grips do trade out, but Dennis with one more back up close, needs to hit that. It's about dirt, it's awkward, but in the end, APEKS do have an advantage. The bomb dropped towards ramp, and for Disco, he's got 2 players more to find.
He does indeed. Doesn't have the bomb under his control either. That is the really dire factor here. Swings round, has an opportunity due to the missed shot, but can't capitalize. He's got a whole minute to work with and all the money in the world, so going for it in this one, trying to win the clutch, is the right decision. APEKS swaps it up with the aggressive angle, though it replies immediately for APEKS. 1-1 in overtime. So far, the scoreline as it's tied up again at 16-16. APEKS struggling for the majority of their CT half, but keeping things even in overtime, a slightly easier task due to the lack of pressure on their economy.
This might be a difference maker, the fact that APEKS do have 2 AWPs. It feels like it should matter here in Malta to go for it. And a nice idea, really great. Marcelius comes off better for the initial one. Some more kills. Oh, and it's there. Disco was burning in the flames anyway. It meant he was always tough and he wants more. He wants to kill through the smoke. Truth supports him. And nothing in terms of a fight back has been shown yet from X Smash.
Not at all. Marcelius whiffing a couple of shots at the start of overtime, but perhaps making up for it in that round. 2-on-5 for X Smash becomes a 2-on-4 thanks to Bubble's underpass lurk, but now with the bomb well on its way to the A bomb site, APEKS have begun their rotations in kind. Bubble's angle not enough to protect his bomb planter with an AWP so close. Waiting in the wings is Dennis to punish him for trying to support that bomb carrier. He's protected from the ramp angle as well, and it looks like he might just wait for his team to arrive in this one before going for the individual heroics.
Well, that's a mistake in itself. I thought the issue would be that for X Smash, they obviously had a player in jungle shoot out the door, so it means that APEKS can even creep out quietly. Bubble whiffing some shots means for now he can't come off an easy win. They're just pushing through the Molotov even better. And what started out as a 2 versus 4, now in a 2-on-2. The X Smash boys could come out better, but that's insane by Shocks. AK has a kit, burning alive. It's an X Smash win from 2 versus 4 to 1 versus nothing. It's a massive heroic play from Shocks and Bubble.
It wasn't even a 2-on-4, Louis. It was a 2-on-5 after that A site gets shut down. They didn't find any players actively defending B. Bubble got that first kill after he came all the way out from underpass. And despite that brilliant early AWP play, X Smash, once again in these retake situations, they just peak one at a time. They don't go together as a team. This is APEKS rather, sorry, in these retakes. And they get punished for it 100% of the time. The aim is good enough for X Smash. They just follow through with those headshots, and the numbers game getting lost out means now X Smash have the opportunity to close it out with double AWPs of their own.
Well, the flash wasn't ideal, but an opening now for X Smash needs to, or sort of an opening side for APEKS needs to be responded with a kill from the X Smash lineup. Waits for now. Backs off from connector. Chocks also smoked off, means his nade could be good for damage, but Marcelius doesn't bite, and he won't take any damage for his efforts. And Dennis, how has he got in jungle? This could be huge in itself because X Smash, they've got a player towards the edge of jungle. The fact that window is now a threat, and Fates is looking towards Connector, means he could now strike Blood first. It's the issue of who strikes first in Connector.
Oh, both AWPs, they tried to ring out, but only one finds the kill. Eventually, Bubble, he's under too much pressure to follow through. Marcelius gets him in kind, and Shocks now falls. Fates down as well. Disco Doppler, the only one who can stop it, is punished by that window position from Dennis. Tied up again, and it's been a long time since we've seen it, but that APEKS T side, it was absolutely monstrous. And if they win 2 more, they still have the chance to close it out in the opening overtime.
If you're X-Smash at this point, you rely on getting at least one of these next 2 rounds just to ensure that you don't lose, because APEKS, you're right in the idea that they were so good, so demanding, so confident when they were playing T-side in the first half that all of a sudden, unless X-Smash get a quick response and a quick answer, they might not get anything. And that's the response that you need. Fates, Orpin, takes out Groose. And there won't be too much more for APEKS to play with over towards mid. In fact, the bomb on B stairs will be recovered as the squad look towards the A site.
Truth sustaining early damage. Not ideal for this APEKS attack of A, but they've rotated Disco all the way to the B bomb side at the moment. As Bubble advances, he knows that it's not going to be a B hit, and Shock's landing those shots. Continues thin out the lines for APEKS. Can they find a way in? No, they can't. Grux continues to deny. It is M4 ready for the bomb yet to go down, but they can't even find these connector players. Dennis will get a single shot with his AWP, but it looks that like APEKS are going to be the ones fighting for double overtime. He follows up with a second flick. That's not bad, but with a flank in tow, this should be an impossible task from Dennis, no matter the tenure.
7 HP also, he's got so much to do. X-Smash now need 1 to close out their map pick. And they did it just right. They had Fates pushing up towards short to ensure they got the opening kill. Dennis at least tried his best, and that was a good flick individually, but it wasn't enough to allow his side to really do too much, and they might even have a double setup on CT. I don't think they need it. Fates will at least have his 1. Currently on 24 kills. 26 also each on Grux and Disco. Gonna be the Orb
must win.
And you're right, must win. Go on.
It's the must win for APEKS. They have to get something done now. There are no more opportunities for error. They're the ones fighting for double overtime, and A, the bomb site, is the one that they want to target. There are 4 active defenders here for X-Smash, with a 5th well on the way, and Shox is looking for the opening kills. It's messy, but the first kill is found. And they continue to fire out. Fates gets 1 with the AWP, but Dennis has got the double refrag with his AK. He's brought it back into the 3-on-3, and the bomb now going down in the smoke. Look at this from Grux, though. He snuck into Ninja, just gets away with it without being spotted, and that lets him find Dennis. 2-on-3. What can APEKS do about this one? How can they deny? Marcelius is so paranoid about a flank at this point. Truth in Palace. Can he deny? It's the first AWP shot to find the first kill, but now he's the only player left alive. Follows it up with a second, and time of the essence. Disco has to close out this push. The Tech-9 firing eventually doesn't land the shots, but Disco, he's left it with just enough time to get it done. Next smash, they close out the first map 19-17.
That got so close. APEKS, they will be kicking themselves that they don't find a win here. They were on top. They were in control in that opening half. 10-5 up, let's not forget. And they had to go for overtime to try and keep this close, but credit to X-Smash for turning up when it matters most. Marcelius probably just proven why he was the better player for the APEKS squad.
A bit rough there, pushes out with the Tech-9 and can't convert the shots. Ladies and gentlemen, map 2 is going to be up next very shortly. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this break. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to your third quarterfinal of the day here at Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home for gaming excellence. It was a drawn-out affair on Mirage where everyone expected X Smash to dominate, but they had to go into overtime to claim victory on their own map pick of Mirage. And now we have Nuke up next, where APEKS are the slight favourites, but neither team too comfortable here on the map. My name is Protalis, and I am joined as ever by Louis to talk you through the series.
And we were talking about this in the warm-up to the Mirage game just now. We felt how APEKS suggested this would be a punish pick, considering X-Smash, this is their worst map, and for APEKS, considering they're not too good on it, I was somewhat confused, but that logic where they want to put X-Smash on a weak map to maybe give them a chance now makes a lot more sense. And with Dust 2 potentially in the horizon, if we see an APEKS win here, then certainly there is a chance for this mainly Norwegian lineup.
Indeed, Marcelius in that first map, the shining star for the side. A little bit inconsistent, missing shots with that AWP in certain rounds, but in others looking absolutely dangerous. Dennis as well on that T side. His entrying was very consistent over on Mirage, and on Nuke, where that T side is the more difficult side of things, perhaps he's a player that's going to be vital to secure those opening kills.
And for me, yeah, Marcelius was one of those big influential players, but there was certainly lots of signs that realistically this X-Smash mixed European lineup can still fight on to maybe claim a 2-0 series. It was a bit of an awkward one for Fates, who on the AWP didn't look as clean in all of the engagements he made, but when he did turn up, he was certainly a key fragger. Shocks as well, he's had some good chances also, and as we now look forward to what is going to be Nuke in what could be an awkward one for either side, it's one where we could somehow see maybe a 2-0 in favour of the X-Smash side, but APEKS and me still have my back in, and I still reckon they've got a good chance of maybe staying in this.
Yeah, both sides not really with the best record here on Nuke. It's just X-Smashes that is that much more abysmal than even APEX's. And there is still the opportunity for the X-Smash side to win. When you think back to Mirage, APEX starting off with that 10-5 lead and throwing that start away and losing eventually in overtime. If they're still tilted from that map, coming into Nuke, where they're not exactly the strongest team anyway, there's certainly that opportunity, as you mentioned, for X-Smash to come in and 2-0 here.
Well, APEKS, they've played this map a bit more often in the past few months, so maybe that's the reason why they've got somewhat of a lesser percentage on it in terms of wins. So if you've got more maps played, but you've got a lower win rate, then maybe for X-Smash, this is their chance to go on 2-0. They've only played this map 9 times, X-Smash, compared to the 15 times that APEKS have played it, but you go off that logic, you think, hold on, if APEKS aren't too strong on this, even though they've played this more often, then maybe X-Smash can have the back and can still go for the 2-0 clean sweep.
Absolutely, and another interesting factor perhaps to think about here on Nuke for APEX is going to be that economy management. It's just so important on the CT side to make sure you have the utility and rifles available so you have the money to put AWPs in the hands of players like Marcelius. And on Mirage, when they switched over to that CT side of things, it started looking a little bit shaky for me. Some force buys coming in perhaps where they shouldn't, and situations in which they looked like they were over investing in those force buys that then led them to have less utility in the full gun rounds, which ultimately caused them to lose out in those executes.
I feel like Dennis is also a player we have to mention as well. He's the only Swedish player in this lineup, but he had his chances over in that Mirage game and certainly kept it close. There's no one player really who was stepping up more than Marcelius, but they all had their fair share of chances to really go on and keep it close. And for me, this Norwegian lineup should be maybe at a slight disadvantage going into this. There is a good chance that they can still take us to Dust 2, which would be our deciding map pick later this evening.
It would be indeed. In case you needed the recap of those 3 maps, here we are. Nuke, our upcoming battleground as well, and one that definitely tilts in Momentum's favor due to the CT side simultaneously being stronger, but also being the one that you need better economic management in order to come out on top of. You tend to see those T sides, if they're able to break the CT bank, they can convert that into some incredible starting momentum that can throw their opponents off kilter and then just convert that throughout the entire map, realistically speaking. So when you look at this in terms of the context of our series, then X-Smash having the momentum coming forward from Mirage, if they're still firing on all cylinders, regardless of what side they get out of the knife, as long as their gunfights come out on top, they have the opportunity to keep the momentum.
And for Nuke also, it's one of those maps where long-range encounters are going to be so key. You look towards outside. This is the map where Fates and Marcellus certainly have the chance of going and having the chance of going on and getting lots of angels. And as we prepare to get us to Nuke, it could be a quick one. For X-Smash, this could be where they see themselves a semi-final spot. For APEKS, if they win this, Dust 2 could be a very open map pick, and it's one which either side could look to come off better in. Some dodgy stats don't give either side a heavy advantage, but it's one which ever so slightly favors APEKS, and it is APEKS's map pick also.
It is their map pick, but X-Smash, they win out the gun round, and you're obviously expecting that to mean the CT side start. They did well. I say they did well in the pistols, but I do believe APEKS actually managed to win out both there on Mirage. I recall them being close in both instances, but that was really what made the recovery from X-Smash just so good on that Mirage map. They were 10-5 down, and their opponents won the pistol round, and they still came back.
Yeah, Grooks ended that first map with 27 kills, in fact.
Indeed, he did. The individual leading the way, and you can see just how much that victory on Mirage has balanced the odds out here from our betting partner at LootBet. X-Smash with 1.9 and APEKS at 1.8, ever so narrowly the favorites here on their choice of map, but really reflecting that this one could go either way.
All right, Smash start off defending, have at least a solo player outside in Bubble, and Bubble will be looking to at least hit some headshots. No damage necessarily towards him, but under pressure and looking for something. Marcellus, the player outside Secret, comes off better, and APEKS, and Groose just extend the kills. Nothing comes back from X-Smash's point of view. Clean start, and Grooks is the only player left, maybe looking for some exit damage.
He will be indeed, as unfortunately for the X-Smash side, they just get trampled in their CT pistol bomb site given away. Grux, no opportunity really to get this done. He's flashed off on ramp now. Headshot finds him from Marcellus. It's the triple kill from him to kick things off here on Nuke. The T side taking that pistol and getting an early lead in the all-important money battle on this map. X-Smash, they don't want APEKS to have that whatsoever. They're going to go for the full force here and try and bring the cash back to their side.
I don't think we can be too surprised either to see Marcellus keeping up that form from his impressive play over in our opening map. 3 kills and pistol. And now one of 3 players, at least with some form of rifle, specifically 3 AKs and 1 Galil. Now the Swedish player Dennis looks outside Secret. On top, Disco Doppler, one of 2 players at least up close towards the A site, and it is going to be lots of these close range engagements on top of the hat, which really X-Smash should and could cause a lot of damage in. Disco has now just dropped off, and as a resmoke goes in, APEKS for now can't entirely look towards Secret.
Oh, that's a beautiful shot from Shocks, though. Finds it with Eagle as APEKS look to try and move in. Shocks has found another one. Marcellus falls. This T side starting to sweat now in the 3-on-5. The bomb doesn't want to commit into those Deagle crosshairs. Instead, it looks around towards A instead. There's more pistols here waiting in the wings. Disco Doppler's found one of his own. APEKS are yet to frag. Eventually, AKES's AK will open up, but Truth is left alone with the Galil. Rifle slowly being by the CT side. It's an excellent reply to the pistol victory from X-Smash.
Well, I thought APEKS were trying to make themselves have some sort of advantage going towards B, but that wasn't the case. Truth Shocked by Bubble. And a kill through the smoke ensures that now the AKs can be recovered by that CT lineup. They can now get a nice economic booster. And the shocks by, or the shots even by shocks, not the shocks by shots. The shots by shocks. Very nice with the Deagle.
Just landing those consecutive headshots, opening up the round, and X Smash. It's beautiful from them. It's exactly what they will have wanted. APEKS want to continue the battle of the Force, but now with the utility advantage, all the weapons to boot, the CT should be able to keep this one at bay. It'd be horrible if they weren't able to do so. And the Deagles, once again, they find the opening kills in the round. CT's falling at the start, but Grux at least gets one in reply.
I think he wants something as well. He wants to play from on top of Hut to really peak first. Dennis, that wasn't him finding the kill, but AKs in fact did do the damage, and Grux now wants to double up. Shocks gets a double. And for now, this eco from APEKS hasn't supplied or given them much aside from 2 kills. Marcelius maybe gets a bomb point over towards B. That would have been useful, but an M4 strikes first. Only the 1 death. Shocks up to 5. A 2-1 start. X Smash still on top.
This is the important beginning for them as well. They need the money to boot. Keeping 3 alive in the anti-force, certainly a desirable situation. As they head into an anti-eco now, they'll want Fates' MP9 to do the majority of that damage and really farm up just all the bonus cash they can get available. He'll go straight outside in the early instance, but there won't be too many players pushing him just yet. Eventually they'll waterfall onto him from above the silo, and just wants to look out he doesn't get overcome by this one.
Well, he's going to get quite a few kills if he wants to get an AWP in the next one. Lots of damage, but only 1 kill converted. Groose is the man to find 1 back at least, but Bubble and Disco, or Disco and Grux, the players looking for these kills just to make it a clean up. While MP9 was recovered, Grux makes it look easy. On top, even finding the last one. That's a nice little quadruple set of kills he picks up. The side not entirely threatened by another APEKS eco, but this is where we can start to maybe see a Danish or Norwegian recovery, in fact.
They'll certainly be looking for it with the AKs out. Fate's just about got enough together for his AWP, but it's Grux who has been leading the charge for the CTs so far. 8 kills in the 4 rounds played from him. Certainly shining brightly at the moment, but it's the rifles that you really need to be able to stand tall against. Bubble's gone aggressive outside. He might get caught off guard if he's not careful. His M4 aggressive, can't convert the kill onto Dennis, whose AK headshot just does more damage. The CTs lose the early man, and Fates wants to reply with his AWP, but nobody from APEKS is going to give him the opportunity.
This collection of smokes. Oh, at least they're there. I wasn't sure if the second one was going to land, but Fates is going to land a shot, and I said he's going to be a key player to really keep watch of outside. He can't do anything about the bomb going down towards Secret. In fact, has little knowledge of the number of players who have crossed. That'll be at least 2. Marcelius, I'm not even surprised they want him to act as entry, given some of the stats he's picked up so far. Truth also behind. A little late to the party. But his team might now get an opening towards the B site. 40 seconds to go. Observation window, the key point. And they've not even cleared ramp, and that still is where a CT player lies.
Shocks. He's the man waiting there, but without any teammates surrounding him, he's got too many angles to be fearful of. Perhaps rightly so. Now there's an AWP that's arrived to the party, but it's not going to deny the bomb from being planted. X Smash need the retake in this full gun round, up against 4 AKs and 4 flashbangs without much utility of their own to work with. Out goes the opening Molotov, but it doesn't land in the right angle, and AKs is able to get a kill. There goes Marcelius. They keep opening up. The ramp push is a failure, and Disco Doppler knows now that he has to back out with his AK. There's enough money for the CTs to buy up still, but APEKS still, they'll be happy with the round they've earned.
A great time to also respond to just stop X Smash from getting any quick and early momentum. It's an AK save, but they can still get an AWP out on Grooks outside. X-Smash won't really be too phased by this loss, but this next one again, it'll be so impactful on the economy of either side. They're just balancing out the money so they can ensure they all get a relatively equal amount of weapons.
They absolutely will. The issue now for X-Smash with the loss is that they'd lose control of the economy. And then they'd allow APEKS the opportunity to build off that T-side momentum. They want outside control, do those Ts, but the utility, their defensive counterparts, at least denying them for the time being. X-Smash, keep it passive. They do have outside control still. Holding slightly more off angles though. Bubble spraying through the smoke, hoping he can find stuff, but it's Fates instead who gets the opening kill, and that's going to cause APEKS to target the A-bomb site instead.
Marcellus, it's the first chance really he's had with an AWP to go forward now. And he has to really make his mark, get a kill back quickly. So many angles, but so dangerous to stand on top of that red container. Makes the safe call to fall back. Bubble might have spotted him, but for the Norwegian, he will regroup with his team. They look towards A. It'll be a hut and secret push, but who's going to come off better first?
Fates charging up the ladder to heaven. He wants the sniper rifle on the right angle, but his teammate's gone down now. Truth, Gruss, and Akez on the way in. They shred all of the angles. A 2-on-4 retake now needed for X-Smash in the round. Not a possibility they want to consider. And they back off towards spawn. We start to see why APEKS selected this map. Although their T side was much stronger overall Mirage than their CT as well. Perhaps a good start here. Even more important from the Nordic guys, just to prove letting slip Mirage away doesn't say everything about their side.
The vital thing also is the fact that X-Smash keep the AWP means they can more or less go for a buy. It's not going to be perfect. And I feel like if they went for an eco, that would be a lot more better in terms of the early money. Fates, the AWPer, probably won't have too much in terms of a support. And if X-Smash go for this, does that mean that then this AWPer and this M4 have to be relied upon to get kills? Or can some of these players, if they force out some SMGs, can also do some heavy work?
Well, we saw Shox' Deagle in that second round definitely do a lot of damage. It's just a huge gamble here for X-Smash, because if they do force around these two rifles, they'll have just about a buy together, but the next one would have to be an eco if they lost, whereas if they took the save here, they'd have a guaranteed buy up in the next one, and there's still the chance that those rifles can get damage done in this particular round, and I think that's the call that they've made. Bubble will just slightly invest, but the rest don't want to harm the economy so that they can get the full buy together in the next one with grenades to boot and have a better chance of denying this APEKS T-side onslaught.
Fates up close, it's a risk, but X-Smash have to do a couple of those now if they want to try and pick off some unexpected rounds. It's a slow start, at least from APEK's point of view, and rightly so. They're not entirely sure what to expect because they're aware that weapons got saved, but they're not sure how heavy X-Smash relatively went for the investment. Brooks is through the smoke. At the back of Garage, a player will be awaiting a potential bit of damage. Want to go to smoke phase, and for Grooks, it's nice. Groose is the player who falls first.
I love that play from him as well. Doesn't spam, takes the time to find the head, lock it in, and then the left click gets the job done. Trigger discipline, landing to the better aim there, but there are still 4 more T-rifles left available. Then he's on the very close angle. Bubble, he peeks around, but he doesn't check it properly, and that leads to the punishment now. Bubble recovering another rifle. He's got body armor as well, although on low HP. Shox has the opportunity Finding even one head makes it winnable. There it is, the second for him. Truth now in a 1-on-4 situation for APEKS to get 4 rounds. X-Smash, they didn't go for the gamble, but it looks like they might end up with this round regardless.
What an angle for Truth to work with. Not enough, though. He had to find 2 more after that one. The Fate, Orpa, and the X-Smash eco, more or less, around the saved weapons. Works out phenomenally. It all came from really that awkward deagle spam and the initial kill found there by Grooks, which gave them just that advantage in APEKS now in a bit of a sloppy position economically. And it was just the positions really that Shock's hold that really meant the site and the round was all but complete.
Another full bot can come out from the tees, but this one is the bank drainer. Making it ever so vital for them to try and overcome X-Smash in this round. They stay inner for the moment. They don't want to contest that active outside control until the CT utility is dissipated. Who wants to go aggressive again? He replies for Marcelius' opening kill and then some. 2 for him as the Molotov will try and stall the additional T aggression. It works out. Russ doesn't swing round, but it looks like Bubble may even be hungry for more. If he overextends, he could lose his life here unnecessarily. X-Smash, they want to keep a hold of this man advantage.
They really got to. I can't see a world in which if a player falls now, they're not going to be in the best scenario. That's great by Bubble and just had the timing with it. Because if you're Gruus and Truth now at this point, yes, you've got the bomb, but you're now making lots of noise. You've got to try and rush again towards the site. And this failed before. They at least predict the player here this time, but Disco for now won't be allowed to supply any damage in that direction. And the player could certainly step up first. They go for the bomb plant. Why would you plant there? Gruus just comes off better. Now needs to find 2 more. He's got 6 HP and a big dream.
A big dream, the big grenade straight to the face. They clearly expect ramp aggression to come through after they commit for the plant, and it allows Disco Doppler to put a stop to it. But Bubble really making it work for X-Smash in that round. 3 kills at the start. It's the majority of the work done for the side, leaving his teammates just to help with the cleanup at the end. They have dealt that economic damage to APEKS that we were talking about. Gruss has to pick up just a scout. No armor on the rest of this T side. They want to use pace to their advantage and try and get a bomb down.
Well, Fates take one. They weren't expecting APEKS to really do that much. For now, it's just damage and easy kills from the CT's point of view. Look at that crossfire they've got to play. That nade is brilliant. I didn't expect that would kill off Truth, but they raid that perfectly. They expect the boost, but again, for Grooks, it's nice and easy. Up to 11 kills in the initial 10 rounds. X-Smash up to 6, and APEKS now at least have a bit more money to play with.
Orp recovered as well. Excellent grenade, allowing him to find that kill before going down in the round. AK's up, but no AWP available on the T side. Dennis, whose entries were a vital part of APEK's success on Mirage, is now very quiet here on Nuke. Only 1 kill in the half so far for him. As APEKS continue to push outside despite limited success. Actually, now Dennis will find a kill. Bubble caught with a grenade out, and Fates not doing anything about these smoke pushes means APEKS are going to storm towards the B site.
Well, this is an off angle for Shocks, really. They should be expecting it, but they just don't find a kill. That's a Shocks win, and a next smash response, and he even looks towards Decon. But Dennis, in fact, allowed to come off better, and Truth does respond, but Fates has kept his side in a 2-on-2. The bomb goes down on the B site. A flash won't be enough to deny this bomb plant, but if he now works with Disco, there's nothing to say that X-Smash can't stop themselves from finding 7 now, but this is APEK's best chance of finding a round.
The shoulder peek. They're trying to bait the shots out from Fates. Akaz knows what he's doing, but he knows that he's going to be waiting in the wings. Gets the timing wrong, but swings anyway, leaving Fates alone. Gets the dink with the USP, the follow-up shots. How is he doing it with just the pistol time? The factor, though, and he can't convert the round. He knows that now. just going to push for damage, although with the kit recovered, there's still hope for him. Finds the shot, but time now too far gone. Excellent effort from FaKes at the end, but it's APEKS killing the low HP Disco Doppler that saves the round for his side.
And I reckon X-Smash could force us out. You look at the money, they can afford it.
They certainly can, and perhaps with these unique codes from our case partners over at Hellcase, you'll be able to afford some extra fun over on the biggest and most well-known opening case website. They've got almost 100 unique cases, so make sure you go and check those guys out. X-Smash had the opportunity there to keep being successful, but just couldn't close it out in the end. Fate's time to Cruella Mistress. The buy can still come through for the CTs. But APEKS, even 6 or 7 rounds on this T side could be enough for them to claim victory.
I said that X-Smash can go for the buyout and the money, and the fact that Fate's kept hold of that ult means they do more or less all have rifles. APEKS again forced down in terms of the economy, but this time it's only a scout for Marcelius going outside this time. Mostly AKs on the remaining sets. Utility at a minimum. That is the APEKS cost for now affording out these rifles, and they look towards upper. Fate just missed the timing, in fact, on the player on top of the silo. And I don't know if did Bubble spot the player pushing to secret?
I don't think he quite caught him in time. That scout shot from Marcelius, though, has found their opposing AWP. Shame that the sniper can't be recovered, but pressure still applied here. Eventually, Bubble finds him outside, but it's so messy with the amount of T bodies that are around there. They don't know where to peek. Shocks on the B site. He peeks out instead. There's 2 on the way in. Can't get the 3rd, but that could be enough work for X-Smash still to win. 3-on-2 retake in towards this B bomb site. Truth and Dennis both with AKs, but just the 1 flash. And 2 HEs on the opponents could deal with one of these T-side players.
Well, it's about who finds first blood, who gets that damage done first. Dennis is playing a safe option, and realistically, Truth, he's kind of trapped. He has to either find a kill or force his teammate into so much more pressure. So play together, maybe. The peak and the damage, and Dennis strikes first. There's the second. Truth can get one more, but he's got a knife, close it out. The bang! It's a loss. It's a win for APEKS. It's a 5th round at least converted. They're keeping this close, and that's entirely what they need on the T side of Nuke.
Close indeed. Shocks with the 2 kills on the way in. X-Smash on these B-site retakes, they just look weak. They don't have the answers, seemingly. Again, going in 1 at a time. Just getting picked apart by the guys over at APEKS there. Putting out that one in narrow fashion. Ever so important that they did, though. This is their opportunity to tie it up at 6-6 with their opponents on eco. Bubbles. The Eagle not as successful as it has been in rounds prior, and this could be a comfortable one here for the Norwegians.
Oh, one of the better players from the Mirage game, Marcelius, isn't going to be finding much this round. I'd love to say the Zeus could come into play, but for now, I don't quite think anyone's looking towards the lobby side of A. In fact, the bomb might end up going towards B, and with Shocks just forcing some damage and some fires out of the APEKS players. Goose did make it look easy, and there is at least trade kills in it, but a 3-on-3, X-Smash have done well so far. It's certainly one they can still look towards winning. And as Disco now backs out towards observation window, APEKS could be in a lot of trouble unless they get this kill.
Disco can't convert the shots. His position now given away to the firepower of the AK. Grux, he's salvaged a Galil for himself, so he'll want just the exits from this one. Retaking 1v3 nigh on impossible. He can hear Truth reloading, so he knows there's a player. Flies on, but he can't convert the shots due to that level of aim punch. It is going to be 6-6 then. APEKS tying it up on the T side. Every round they get from this point on a bonus, and X-Smash needing these CT rounds. They're going to be like gold dust for them because their T side is not the strongest here on Nuke whatsoever. They don't want to be going into that half with a round deficit.
This is a scary feat now, considering that APEKS now are waking up. They are growing into Nuke. Fast one out, and Disco on top. At least strikes blood first. Nothing from Vesalius. Even Truth, it felt way too late for a trade kill. X-Smash, they've done the hard task. They've now got a 2-man advantage from behind, from stairs. It's a kill, but Dennis running that relog and a kill towards Hell means it's going to be tough now in a 1 versus 3. Bomb lost also. What do you do in this scenario, Patalis?
Try and get 3 headshots, realistically, is the only answer there. His team going to be in the penultimate round of the first half next with a precarious economy. Should they lose? And this has an opportunity yet still. Position given away makes things infinitely more difficult. As now X-Smash can build the crossfire to counter him. And with 50 seconds, it's arguably too long for him to try and save in the round. But at least for now, he doesn't seem too keen at walking into this A site.
I wouldn't either, to be quite honest. I wouldn't want to walk up and have potentially 3 M4s or 3 rifles looking straight at you. 30 seconds. 1-on-1 Angels would have been the answer, but can't really do much against Grooks. X-Smash just about back in the lead, but APEKS, for me, they've done quite well on their T side. They've got 6 rounds established. They could still easily look towards 7. It's going to be a very fine margin of who comes out on top going into that second half. It's technically one that APEKS still can be in charge of, but X-Smash, don't get me wrong, they still can look towards 9-6.
They have to get through this eco if they want a chance at that scoreline, though. We know these Deagles can be dangerous, but Bubble at least cleaning them up early on. Truth will find one, but Fate's making sure that APEKS won't get any more than they asked for. Just the opener from Truth to deal economic damage to the CTs there. It's not enough to deny Bubble a full investment in the last round of the half, but it might be enough to stop a CT AWP from coming out, which is at least something on your eco. It'll make it ever so slightly easier for APEKS to find a way into this round, but realistically speaking, both sides looking for it to boost their chances at closing out the map.
Quick little Molotov in. APEKS were looking to maybe consider something fast towards this site specifically, but for now, a pre-fire, and for now, Dennis just forced to play a little bit safe. This side looking for some sort of key opening. Let's go. Not going to be allowed too much yet. The amount of utility which has been forced out of this X-Smash site is it really insane, and with Tennis through the smoke getting that initial one, it means for now there is a minor advantage, and that's towards this Norwegian lineup.
That's all Dennis was looking for. Keep players in that spray battle, hope that somebody holds left click for too long, and then you know exactly where they are based on the trace. Disco has gone through the smoke, found Dennis, tagged up the second player, but now has been punished for his aggression. Fate's bailing him out into the 3-on-3 still, and he then is denied by Truth. Also shocks round from Rap Room, but APEKS expects it, and Truth finishes Bubble in the end. 8-7 the score at the end of the first half. APEKS keeping it all competitive as they switch over to the easier CT side of their own map pick.
It should be the easier CT side. It always has been in the past. And to just close out a half at only a 1-round gap means realistically this is still wide open for debate this entire series. Of course, X-Smash came into this currently 1 series and 1 map ahead even. And if X-Smash now find 8 of the next 15, then that'll be them guaranteeing themselves a spot in this semi-finals. APEKS now have to come from behind. And Truth, 17 kills. The closest player towards that on their end in terms of kill numbers is APEKS on 9.
Indeed, it's been a one-man affair for that Nordic squad in the first half of Nuke. X-Smash more balanced in terms of the scoreboard, but I think the pistol more significant for them as they head over towards the T side. Their chances at 2-0ing drastically improved if they can win that one out and keep that CT economy in check. That's what's so important about the pistol win, is the damage you deal to the early CT money.
And that's the thing going forward for the CT money. If you just don't lose or sorry, don't gain a good economic standpoint going forward, then you've got the pressure on you. As X-Smash now switch over to the side of the offensive end. I completely forgot what side they were on.
T side, of course. And we can check out these loot bet odds over from our betting partners. X-Smash still favored to win out this map, interestingly, with just the 1 round advantage. That could be a little interesting bet to take, as APEKS are positioned to come back into this one. Marcelius is USPS, trying to find the outside headshots, but it's Bubble who opens up from X-Smash instead. And now the CT has to reply. Dennis could do it, but instead Grux and Shocks put 2 more CTs to the grave, leaving Truth with 2 pistols to find 2 players. He'll get none. It's Shocks instead. And X-Smash, a vital pistol earned in their favor.
That'll be why the loot bet odds seem to be in the X-Smash favor after that pistol round. A positive start, and one they can certainly now start to build upon. But APEKS will force us out. There was no X-Smash bomb plant, so realistically going forward, some of these AKs could be weaker. Some Galil's also in the mix means for APEKS, they can certainly get damage done. A full commitment from both sides in the weaponry department. There was a scout on board also. Marcelius needs to now step up his game because he's had a bit of a quiet one. Deagle, though, might be the first point of contact, and smoke in a way means Truth has no real visibility of what lies beyond the door.
Limited utility on both sides of things, particularly the CTs, though. Just a single smoke. The thing about X-Smash, you can see why they're playing so passive, is that they don't want to get caught off guard by those Deagles. They utilized them to great effect in the second round of the first half. And if they get clapped back again now, APEKS could swing that momentum into a dominant second map victory here and drag us into the decider. So these T's very paranoid about giving any early advantages away whatsoever. They drop yet more utility and slowly make their way towards the ramp room.
Well, Dennis might be key if he's quick to rotate down towards the stairs and over towards Beam. But no one in ramp room means for X-Smash it's more or less an open chance to head towards this B site. Problem Fates, they're not entirely convinced that the room was clear, so they just had a little peek towards Hell Room. The A site heavily stacked, in fact. That's why there's no one towards B or even nearby. And as Marcelius now looks to rotate in, the bomb will look to be planted and rush in towards observation. There's 4 players there, and Fates at least can get to a shot.
It's a bit of a shock there as the X-Smash guys go around the corner, but eventually they managed to get it done. The all 5 stack from APEKS, rotating very quickly and giving them at least a look into that retake. You can only imagine the shock on Bubble's face as he swings around that corner and just sees 2 of them. You can tell they panic there. Grux backs off in the late instance, but excellent job at least denying that rush through from the CTs. They have the eco now in kind. X-Smash have the chance for 11, needing just 5 after that point to close out the series, but anything can happen on Nuke, especially when your win rate's this poor.
Player at least dives in towards events. Disco Doppler alone. Marcelius couldn't quite find that initial kill. And it is pistols for this APEKS squad. Some damage, which Marcelius almost feeds upon. Shocks now prepares one of the 2 outside smokes with Bubble. It means that with that added vents control, they can certainly split towards the B site. And I wonder if things would have been different if Disco didn't get into this angle.
He has, though, and he's found Marcelius. Opening up the B-bomb site. The rest of X-Smash making their way in. Grux expects one on the left. What about the right? That's Fates' job. He has that under wraps. Dennis is here with the Deagle, but Disco Doppler left on just 1 HP. Allowed to survive in the round. Truth, the star of that first half. He's arrived with his Deagle now, but his position given away. In turn, looks for some headshot angles, but he's afforded none of them Rux's Mac 10 cleaning it up as we look ahead into the first full gun round out from APEKS and their opportunity to narrow this gap.
But I need to really step up at this stage to stop X-Smash from building up the weapons, money, and confidence going forward. AKs will be combined with a Mac 10 on Grux. And as Marcelius now has the opportunity to step up with the AWP, he really needs to. He was one of APEX's best players over in Mirage, and on Nuke, really, he has been one of the quieter ones. He's not been the man he was in that first map, and that could be a concern because if he's not stepping up, then who do you have really now looking to get kills, especially if you're an AWP outside and finally he at least shoots down bubble.
Looking for more spam and gets a collateral off the back of it. The miracle shot, that's the round for APEKS. Surely Disco Doppler gets one, but he's now on two. Marcelius has got a fourth and is hunting for the ace. The heroic Norwegian AWP dominating the first gun round for APEKS, getting that 11-8 scoreline. And it all comes off of this beautiful collateral. You can see he's just spamming around, praying, but the bullets from his teammate actually block those X-Smash guys, keep them in place, and that's what gives him room for the collapse.
The scary thing was that could have been 3 people dead in one bullet. That could have been one shot and one complete annihilation of the CTs. And so X-Smash just will be using this pause just to try and stop down any potential momentum which APEKS might try and feed upon from that win. Still a bit of a gap behind, 8 to 11, 3 rounds. But you got to remember also APEKS, they were more or less controlling that going into the second half of Mirage, and X-Smash, they had that second half comeback when they looked better and they just built up the rounds. Now if we maybe see an X-Smash win here, not only is the economy going to be somewhat damaged for APEKS, but also the concept that maybe time will be running out to make a play happen.
Absolutely, they want to commit outside again after finding success in the last round, and Marcelius just waiting for Shox to show himself. He will show himself, but instead to the rifler at first, which just prompts him perhaps to be more passive here. As long as X-Smash have drawn 2 players towards outside, they should theoretically be able to get map control elsewhere, but just content in over-peaking the AWP and eventually being punished for it. Marcelius again ringing out for the opening kill in this round. APEKS start with the man advantage, and he's repositioned to find Bubble. Spots the shadow as well. That leads way to the close range shot. And things now for X-Smash begin to deteriorate.
As soon as I say that Marcelius needs to step up, he has the AWP and then just gets the opportunity to take advantage massively. Gets the 2 kills early on this round, combined with the kill by AKES to more or less ensure that APEKS might have cemented round number 9 on the board. It's still an X-Smash lead, which they can work with. Maybe still a chance in this one to maybe get at least a bomb plant. That would be huge, but there is a player hiding in window. It's going to be Dennis, the sole player left on the site. Actually, down in double doors. More happy to give up the site, more happy to play a little safer. As we approach the 15-second mark, as soon as that door opens, X-Smash know where this last player is on beam.
Yeah, he's just waiting for the sound cue, though. He wants to hear the bomb and tell his team where it's all going down in the B site. He won't be able to find an opening kill, which leaves us still in a 2-on-5, but with the heavy men advantages, APEKS should convert this. Disco will get 2 on the spray down. Heroic effort from him as he looks for Gross as well, but can't find him. 1-on-3 now for Fates. Gets the second with the AK and the third. He turns it around. The insane clutch. It's individuals back to back, but X-Smash get 12.
Disco and Fates, the 2 players who keep them in that 2 versus 5. X-Smash, they hold on to that, and that's around APEKS should be winning. They have Marcelius on top outside doing all the heavy lifting with the AWP, but it just isn't enough. The fact that Fates even get this 3rd kill is insane. They've got to play that together. That's a huge mistake. And for APEKS, down now by 4 rounds. X-Smash need 4 for a semi-final spot.
Critical error there from APEKS, losing the 2-on-5. Their economy is now such a mixed bag. They have a big decision to make, and X Smash know it. That's why they called that timeout. They want to make the CT sweat a little bit here, but they're going to hold strong, at least for the moment. They're going to stick with the eco and give X Smash 13 just a 3-round buffer you expect them to have to come back from.
I'll at least start this one off with this weaker purchase, this eco round. The SMG of Truth is the only weapon that Apex really have to rely on for at least primary damage. The Deagles can spam, but the Deagles for now won't find too much. Bruce might look for something smoked out. In fact, gives himself a bonus smoke just to maybe find a garage and a spot of opportunity. Now Truth's aggression could be huge, but see back to aim. His teammate Bruce dies. It's shots of an opening and X Smash with an early advantage.
Shocks could fall here though if he's not careful. The decal from APEKS can't convert, unfortunately. Fates is up now in kind, looking for this USPS in secret. Instead, it's Grux's AK that finds it. Marcelius denied any shenanigans despite his best efforts, and Dennis's Deagle, once again, the last weapon left on this APEKS side. He can tell right now he just wants to get a quick headshot, get a quick AK, and get a quick escape so that he can save it forward into the next round. It will be 13 for X Smash, looking ahead to that CT gun round. Dennis is going to be allowed to keep sneaking for now.
If he picks up 1 or 2 weapons, or just takes 2 weapons off of the X Smash side, that would be a bonus, but Disco prepared. Means his side now make it to 13, and all of a sudden this scoreline looks a bit more deadly and concerning for Apex. They've now got the weapons. They've got Marcelius on an AWP with only a smoke in terms of utility, so not perfect for the utility levels, but if Apex, unless they turn up and get something else here, then I don't know if there's a further say in this series.
This could be a game-winning moment, a series-winning moment for X Smash with a victory, but Marcelius, he knows it, and he's gone aggressive with his AWP to try and deny. Gets hit in the head, but allowed to stay in the round. He's going to be able to get out of that one. APEKS close range 4-4, can't deny, but the man advantage still lies with APEKS. Disco rushes through the smoke, finds one, but is punished on the retreat. Still keeping the man advantage in that CT favor.
The shot by Bubble was absolutely insane, but credit to Apex for suddenly turning out. Marcelius gone means this could still be a concerning position for the Apex squad. They've got Dennis and Truth, 2 key players now looking to step up most. Truth's been honestly trying to carry his side through this. Top fragger. But Bubble and Fates might have an opportunity to work down towards B. Dennis is just waiting for the player behind, I think. He just wants something to be given. The player, in fact, looks towards Mini. If he goes on A, this should be Fate's dead, but he looks towards maybe CT, clearing as much as he can. Everyone's just losing the timing. And I feel X Smash, their best option is to go B.
They've crept through. They've crept through the crossfire. Dennis goes aggressive here towards the lobby, and you can see then they expect it to be an A-hit wraparound, but they're actually going to fake out this B-bomb site with the flashes. Fates, where's he looking at the moment? Not the right way. Eventually, is allowed to survive. Bomb dropped even. Down behind the silo. Truth can nearly punish the pickup. He will look to capitalize again as Fates is still planting, but he turns around and gets it. Can he make it? Back-to-back clutches. Dennis in front of him. On 76, he snaps, but he can't convert. APEKS stay alive. They'll have to face another bye.
X Smash money, it's gonna get them maybe an off on Fates, but does he go for the weapon? Maybe they just now look to change up the pace. They've had lots of slow rounds, but realistically, if you start to overwhelm these players, maybe towards a certain point or choke point, then that's where that you can then catch Apex off guard. I feel X Smash have to be a bit more unique, and they've now got to go off something different if they want to move on to 14. And if Apex keep getting given the same thing, then what's to say that APEKS can't go on and try and make a comeback now?
Absolutely right. Secret aggression spotted by Sharks at the start. APEKS now under pressure to reply, but he can't even do it. Sharks finds the follow-up headshot. He's still hungry, but look at this. 3 kills come back instantaneously for APEKS. Bring it back into a 2-on-2 situation is what they do. Grux and Fates left alone with their AKs against these defending Nordic players. They target the B bomb site. They make their way down. They can't allow themselves to lose any players before that bomb gets planted.
1 minute on the clock. Dennis just has the sound cues. Him and Groose can now start to enter together, and that's so awkward if APEKS don't clear the angles. It's Groose with a lineup. I didn't realize they were going to line up for that. What a way to get 14. I thought they'd have to go through something different. What was that?
Oh, they go for the ramp push, but the second Dennis peeks out, there's a player behind him. They line up, and Grux, he's only looking for 1 headshot. He gets the second. Absolutely free. APEKS, after coming so close to defeating X Smash on their own map pick. Now in home territory, APEKS struggling 14-9 down against an X Smash side that have done nothing but lose on Nuke recently.
This map always felt like a bit of a gamble for either side, given the fact that it's not either of APEKS or X Smash's best maps. We said that this is most likely an X Smash gamble or a map where they just wouldn't turn up or do anything, and suddenly 49 up, APEKS will be kicking themselves for picking this map.
Absolutely, at this point, the grenades get dumped, but nobody's found by them. It's just echoing pistols left to do damage in this for APEKS. Dennis will find one for himself. There's still 4 more rifles to root out. Trying to deny map point at that, series point at that. Bubble thinks about pushing in, but those pistols could have a nasty crossfire to deal with him. He knows it. Problem that X Smash have to overcome is the only player that pushed lobby was the one with the bomb.
On to go. This could be such a good angle if they don't clear it. Well, they do. Somewhat confused why they were going for that, but they at least clear that, so B site could be an option. They're just pushing for the kills. They're just trying to APEKS out of these angles. Hold on, Dennis might have a say in this. He's still got the AK. Bubble's certainly tagged up. That isn't a threat. And really, if APEKS want to win this, they might have to rely on Dennis to help influence and lead an ace. Look at the Deagle. Oh, what a save to the round from the 2 best players. 10 for APEKS. They still have a life in this. They've still got a chance pushing on. This AK effort, it was perfect and single-handedly helped them win and close it out.
You can tell as well, when they come around that corner, they're not expecting Truth to be sat there with the Deagle. And all of that round is all predicated off of X Smash sending the bomber out alone. It just shows you that one momentary lapse of concentration can cost everything. Their economy now broken. They drop down onto the Force. 4 Deagles supporting an AK-47. APEKS can come straight back into this map after it looked like everything was all said and done. Shox has found an AWP out of nowhere. That's the magical opening he was looking for. Any more overextension from the CT side could lead to yet more punishment at the hands of this sniper rifle.
Marcelius has stepped up in the second half as well. He's had a better CT end of things than on the T side, and that's a concern. If you lose one of your better players now going forward, there could be a concern really stepping up. So maybe deny series point. Bubble will lead this charge down towards B. They now speed it up. They now make a lot more noise. Dennis, he'll be the one left to really be prepared to maybe slow this down. It's such a common angle. It's so awkward. The one-on-one Angels, but it's a one-on-one trade. X Smash, they'll get a bomb plant. They've got an advantage even with an AWP. APEKS might have to even cancel the retake.
3 rifles recovered onto armor and players. Shot flashed. Oh, he can't land the no-scope. That's a brilliant play from APEKS, flushing him out of the vents there, working in unison. And they've removed the orb from this retake effort, but they can't remove Fate's Deagle until it's too late. He finds a kill. And Grux is now under all of the pressure he could be. Looks for the first, lands the headshot, and spots the info on the second. It's all on Truth now to make the play. Has to push round. Grux knows that time is a factor, and he follows it up map point to X Smash. 1 away from reaching the semi-finals. Their opponent's economy down in the dumps. They get double orbs, but what else will they have to support it?
Well, it's not going to be an ideal buyout by any means whatsoever. The chance was there, and Grux just allowed Even to pull it off and clutch that out so easily. He made it look. And APEKS, again, they kind of had to play that together. They had to go for the double peak. The individual effort's not enough. Now with a pause in, APEKS would need 5 in a row to even consider Dust 2 as an option. And 5 rounds to them would only be at least overtime.
Feels like so long ago, Louis, that we were talking about APEKS's potential to 2-0 this series. X Smash, we had them as the favorites at the start. We both thought it would be a 2-1, though. And at the end of the first half, we thought a 2-0 could be on the cards. But in the other direction, APEKS on Nuke, it's just not gone well for them. Despite those flashes of brilliance, struggled to find strength.
Everyone's looking at Dennis, so just kind of thinking, right, Dennis is going to have a hype moment. Going to help his side push on and maybe do what they need to do to find 5 in a row. But that's a big ask, 5 in a row. They win this one, X Smash's money is going to be a little demolished. So then that could start to give them a bit of momentum and movement. Wars comes to an end, though.
Does indeed. Orbs available, as you've mentioned. Timeout at an end, and this is the moment that APEKS realized they could be in trouble. The pressure on, 5 in a row needed to stay alive in the series, and X Smash just 1 away from the semi-finals. AKES can't land his opening AK shot. He has to retreat into B. Dennis's orb is there, watching like a guardian angel, and it lands 2 big shots, denying the tease on the way in. There's another sniper rifle off the board, but Shocks, he has heaven control, and the bomb's making its way in that direction.
Well, I don't see what Grux and Marcellus can do up here on aim. Bubble from heaven. What do they do? I don't think you'd expect anything behind you. This is the concern, really. 2 players up on top. Are they even considering it? No, they're not. This is so scary. They hear the sound cues, and there's Bubble making their first impact. The man advantage still to APEKS.
He does find it, you're right. Man advantage in APEKS's favor. Marcellus can't find Disco as he crosses onto the site. A missed opportunity as APEKS have to win the retake. 4 on 3. They start to encroach the bomb. Near enough halfway gone, and only 1 kick to hand. It's in APEKS. It lies, but the opening shot's whip. Oh my god, Disco Doplin's rushed with the Galil. He finds only 1, and up from heaven, Bubble can't deny the defuse. It's coming through. He's gonna land it. APEKS, they stay alive. 15-11. X Smash are gonna have to give this one another go.
If he hit Marcellus once, that would have been the X Smash round and the X Smash boys winning. But hold on a second. Their money now gone. APEKS now have a full buyout. Oh, is out. AKs and an M4 still in that mix.
They are indeed. X Smash, they've made the right decision to call for the eco in this instance. They're going to have way more opportunities to try and close this game out, and opportunities in which they'll have vastly superior equipment to this particular round. Marcellus so quick on finding the opening shot, but a headshot preventing him from landing these follow-up flicks. They're trying to focus on dealing with his AWP at the moment. Grenade doesn't get it done either. Eventually it's finishes Deagle, but Truth stabilizes.
Oh, well, Bubble, a lot of work to do if he wants to win this right here, right now. I don't think there's a chance. No shots even connected.
What?
There's two. Hold on. He might have a chance. 42 HP. Truth still alive. It's the 15 HP of Bubble left to maybe somehow clutch this. And this shouldn't have been the case. This was an X Smash Eco. 1 minute to play against the low HP Truth just hiding in garage.
APEKS, they get overconfident, they get too cocky against the eco. They don't expect Bubble to have recovered the AWP, and it could all now slip through their fingers. Truth, aware that Bubble can't win the round from his angle, holds true and lands the shots. Thankfully, he gets 4 for APEKS and avoids a crushing defeat in that round.
Well, that got way too scary. Truth did what he could, but suddenly this AWPer just hit shots you wouldn't expect him to hit. Bubble, it was awkward for the second one on top in heaven. There's the third shot connecting. That play also to find Dennis was just insane, but wasn't enough. The round gap now stands at 3. Smash have the weapons, and you look at APEKS's buy, it's not ideal.
Marcelius is just waiting to open fire. Desperate for this first pick. Tagged, but shoots, replies through the tracers again. A player thrown away to the outside AWP for X Smash. And they look to go inside to compensate. Russ MP9 in the corner, not spotted out until it's too late. He gets one. Marcelius is now up in heaven with his AWP Molotov. Too late to do anything about it as he can advance now onto the lower ground, but the kill has been found. Grux has arrived from outside. Dennis and Truth holding out from 2 separate angles on the retake.
It feels so scary, the angles at APEKS, and they certainly could find a win here. Dennis not finding anything, is gone, and Truth. Oh, they both get deleted by Grux. X Smash, they've done it. A 2-0 clean sweep. It was a tough ask, but APEKS, in fact, they fall short. And what a finish that is.